Coming to you on location at the Arlington County Central Library, it's Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Nolan.
I'm Miriam Gennari.
Well, since we are in the library, here's the usual rundown that I give at the top of the show. We have news and our community bulletin board, our EBG segment, or It's Easy Being Green. Indeed it is. CBB, as I may or may not have mentioned, our 55 plus, formerly News for Seniors segment, and then a roll in something about viruses. So here we go with the first of our news items.
What first?
Oh, I'm sorry. We forgot the social media reminder.
Social media reminder. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our YouTube channel. That's YouTube, Arlington Weekly News, and the number 1. Also, on Facebook, /Arlington Weekly News. And you can hear us on the radio at 96.7 FM WERA. Now we're ready to roll, Craig.
Here we go with the first of our news items. Well, the Arlington County Manager, Mark Schwartz, has announced the imposition of an additional $200 speeding fines for 3 streets here in Arlington. And the affected streets are Carlin Springs Road from Columbia Pike to North George Mason Drive, Military Road from North Old Glebe Road to Nellie Custis Drive, and Lorcum Lane from Military to Spout Run Parkway. Speeders who are caught exceeding the speed limit will be charged $200 plus $6 for every mile per hour that they're over the posted speed limit, along with about $66 in court costs. That means that if you exceed the speed limit by about 10 miles per hour, the whole thing will cost you about $326. So be careful out there.
Upon receiving this news, we had a couple questions. First, why are only 2 of the streets, well, I take that back. Why are 2 of the affected streets located in North Arlington, with a 3rd street split between North and South? Secondly, why specify the affected streets if the goal is to reduce speeding throughout the county? Mr. Schwartz's announcement appears to give a kind of pass to travelers on all other streets. For example, the 16th Street North that runs past Virginia Hospital Center is a notorious abuse of traffic.
Also in our news items, Cynthia Johnson, the interim superintendent of Arlington Public Schools, has presented the county with a budget of $725.9 million in expenditures against $698.4 million in revenue. Shortfall. The resulting budget shortfall is more than $27 million. The 2020 adopted budget was $669.6 million. The 2019 adopted budget was $640.1 million. The 2018 adopted budget was $613.6 million, and going back to 2017, the adopted budget was $581.9 million. The cumulative rate of inflation between 2016 and 2020, are you getting all this? Are you taking notes? Was 7.5%, but the proposed budget exceeds the 2017 adopted budget by more than 20%. What do you think about that, Miriam?
I think soon we're going to be out of 6 digits. Well, here come the Amazons. Amazon's promised influx of jobs appears to start taking effect now, with the Washington Business Journal's reporting that there are little more than 700 employees in leased office space in Crystal City. However, the average salary being paid to these new hires is not known, so it's not possible to determine if these are some of those $150,000 jobs that we were promised.
Here comes Amazon. Well, anyway, it's now time for, CBB is coming up, so don't go away. It's now time for It's Easy Being Green. Take a look.
No frogs allowed in the library.
Okay, since frogs are not allowed in the library, I guess we'll have to do something different. Look at this. And now here's promised as our CBB Community Bulletin Board segment.
I've been looking for the information desk. I need to know where the science section is. Because I won't be going to work now, and so I want to be making gold at home. So I want books on alchemy in the science section.
Wait a minute. We're trying to do a news show here. This is a news show.
But here's the desk. It's in the library. It must be an information desk. Right?
No, this is a news show. We're just trying to do the Arlington Weekly News. Don
This
Hammond's
is like a kind of information.
This is just a news show. That's all. I don't know about information.
But I need
Information
to find
is
the
data.
science section. I mean,
Huh?
Information desk is that way.
It's that.
Oh.
This is the news. This is a
so,
news
so
show.
this is like some of that fake news.
Information is
public
data.
access
No, no,
stations,
no.
Right
things
that
like
way.
Okay.
News is news.
Okay, no, I understand.
Information is
I got it,
data.
yeah.
Information's over there. Well, middle and high schoolers can hang out and play board games with friends at this upcoming event. Whether you want to enjoy a classic favorite or learn a new game, there'll be plenty to choose from. Snacks will also be provided, and they will be in the form of brownies. This event takes place on Wednesday, March 11, from 2 to 3 in the afternoon at the Glen Carlin Branch Library. They're located at 300 South Kensington Street. Brownies at this one, brownies.
Arlington County has seen a stunning amount of growth over the years, especially since the turn of the millennium. However, the past 2 decades are only a small part of Arlington's history. Travel through time to the 1920s as author Peter R. Penser explores the history of Arlington, and see your favorite Arlington neighborhoods with a stunning series of photographs highlighting what life was like a century ago. This is taking place on Thursday, March 12th from 7 to 9 p.m. in the Reich Auditorium at Marymount University, 2807 North Glebe Road. I can't wait to see those pictures. You love pictures.
All right, also on our CBB Community Bulletin Board file, well, invasive plants are highly disruptive native ecosystems around the world. However, these plants all come from somewhere, including right here in Virginia. Though they live in perfect harmony here, some native Virginia plants are unwanted invasive species in other parts of the world. This event will take a deeper look at these plants and the issues that they are causing worldwide. It is coming up on Thursday, March 12 from 8 to 9 in the PM portion of the day. It's for adults ages 18 and older, and it's happening at Gulf Branch Nature Center and Park. They're located at 3608 North Military Road. They are asking for advanced registration on this one, so give them a call or stop by, and here is their number for advanced registration, 703-228-4747.
Kids love cartoons and comics, and many even dream of one day being a cartoonist themselves. If this sounds like your child or a friend that you know between the ages of 5th grade to 8th grade, then this is an event you'll want to know about. Participants will be introduced to various drawings, techniques, and exercises to use their own 3-panel comic strip. All levels of artists will be welcomed, and all materials will be provided. This is happening Friday, March 13th from 3 to 4 p.m. at the Glen Carlin Branch Library, 300 South Kensington Street. And thanks to Jordan Kuharski for this week's CBB Stories.
All right, and now for our 55 plus, formerly News for Seniors segment. Well,
Try again.
you know, as I was saying, our 55 plus News for Seniors segment, the 2020. Okay then. All right, as promised now, News for Seniors glasses in place are formerly known as News for Seniors or 55 plus news segment, and here we go. The 2020 Community Engagement Forum on Aging issues will focus on core areas of aging. I'll get through this in a minute. There will be presentations followed by breakfast sessions. The theme of this year's event is Moving Forward Together. It is sponsored by Arlington's Area Agency on Aging, the Aging and Disability Services Division, and the Arlington Commission on Aging. Topics to be explored include transportation, housing, equity, and longevity. The forum will be held on Monday, March 16 from 9:30 to 12:30 at the Unitarian Universalist Church, which is located at 4444 Arlington Boulevard. For more information and to register, give them a call at this number, 703-228-1747.
March is Women's History Month. It's also the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, granting women the right to vote. Lauren DeVore, a National Park Ranger, will present a program at the Belmont Paul House, Women's Equality National Monument, and the headquarters of the nation's Women's Party for 90 years. It was the epicenter for women's suffrage and is located on Capitol Hill in the district. Ranger DeVore's presentation will take place Tuesday, March 12th at 11:30 a.m. at the Lee 55 Center, located at 5722 Lee Highway. For more information, call or register at 703-228-0555.
Also, we're in a library. Also in our News for Seniors or 55 plus news segment, Kathy Hicks, president of the Arlington Historical Society, will present a program on 2 Arlington women who worked in their communities to achieve school desegregation. The women were Elizabeth Campbell and Dorothy Ham. Ms. Campbell worked through a political process, and Ms. Ham stood up to the status quo. This program takes place on Wednesday, March 11, at 11 in the morning at Aurora Hills 55 Plus Center, which is located at 735 18th Street South. To register and find out more about it, give them a call at this number, 703-228-5722.
Hard to believe, one person dies every 4 minutes of stroke, and each year approximately 800,000 people suffer stroke. Dr. Edward Alcock, Medical Director from Virginia Hospital Center, Inpatient Rehabilitation Center, will discuss stroke prevention, symptoms, causes, and simple lifestyle changes that can help safeguard you against the possibility of having a stroke. That's on Thursday, March 12th at 11 a.m. at the Langston Brown 55 Plus Center, located at 2121 North Culpeper Street. To sign up for this informative talk, call 703-228-6300. And thanks so much to Judy Masabny for this week's 55 Plus Stories.
Well, we're almost done. Hang in there. I forgot we're in the library. Hang in there. We'll be back with sign off and bye-bye after some thoughts on viruses.
The viruses, that's why I'm going to be staying home and need to make money. Here's some Kleenexes. You guys don't have any protection. I got masks for you.
Extra masks.
Yes.
Nice, thank
Stay
you.
protected.
Masks.
That's
He
great.
gives us masks.
Listen, they're hard to find.
Well, I guess we should.
Why not?
We'll be back for sign off and bye-bye right after this.
Here on Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News, we usually concentrate on the Arlington area. We recognize that there are many other outlets for state, national, and international news. However, there are some issues that start at a local level, and I want to discuss one of them now. It's the COVID-19 virus. What is a virus? A virus is a kind of organism that some scientists describe as half alive. A virus is made up of some of the same components that constitute living things, and its continued existence depends on another organism or host. Where do viruses come from? Viruses can be found all over the earth. Humans, animals, and insects may carry them, but some scientists believe that they originated over 1 billion years ago, before any of these other life forms appeared. How long can a virus live in a host? The life of a virus depends on the type of virus and the resilience of the host. Some viral infections have been shown to be lifelong. Others are eliminated by the immune system of the host in a number of days. How long can a virus live without a host? Some viruses last as little as 1 day, while others last for a week or more. Recent studies indicate that the COVID-19 has an unusually long independent lifespan on inorganic surfaces. How are viruses acquired? Viruses can enter the human body via the nose, mouth, eyes, bloodstream, or sometimes through an open wound. How are viruses transmitted? Most viruses exist in a moist environment, often referred to as droplets. However, the term droplet can be misleading because a very tiny amount of moisture can still contain hundreds of individual virus cells. How do viruses attack? Viruses do not so much attack as they simply invade. The scientific term is infection. A virus simply uses the environment it finds inside the cells of the host. In fact, it has been shown that some viruses even infect other viruses. How do viruses kill? Typically, a virus does not actually kill its host. The virus causes reactions within the immune system of the host. The immune system releases a series of proteins called interferons, which are antiviral agents. A kind of chain reaction ensues with other antigens, which in turn combine to eradicate the virus. In some cases, the uncomfortable symptoms are actually the result of the body's reaction, not of the virus itself. When the immune system overreacts, it can interfere with normal functions, contributing to the death of the host. How are viruses treated? Generally, viral infections are not so much treated as managed while the body's immune system does the actual work. Antibiotics don't work against viruses, but certain antiviral medicines can help in some cases. How do vaccines work? The history of vaccines goes back to the 1770s at least. That was when it was observed that milkmaids who had suffered from the non-fatal disease known as cowpox became resistant not only to repeated infections from cowpox, but also to the deadlier disease of smallpox. It was determined that the cowpox organism was similar enough to that of smallpox that once a person had survived the lesser disease, they were immune to both. Later, ways were found to weaken a disease-causing organism so that the immune system could form a defense that would be effective against a full-strength version. In simplified terms, getting the minor sickness would help prevent getting the major sickness. How are viruses prevented? Viruses are not prevented. They have existed for many millions of years, are extremely adaptable, and very nearly ubiquitous, at least on Earth. What makes coronavirus unusual? To be specific, the current disease referred to as coronavirus is a new form of other coronaviruses which were named based on their crown-like protrusions they revealed under a microscope. For example, severe acute respiratory syndrome, also known as SARS, was a type of coronavirus that emerged in 2002. Middle East respiratory syndrome, also known as MERS, was another type of coronavirus that emerged in 2012. The technical term for the current manifestation is COVID-19, which is an acronym for Corona Virus Disease 19. It's a little bit like WD-40, in which the WD is short for water displacement, and the 40 indicated the 40th version. From what is known so far, this new variant has a long lifespan on non-organic surfaces. Its fatality rate is lower than that of the other coronaviruses mentioned earlier, but is far more communicable. What can Arlingtonians do to minimize their risk? I'm going to extrapolate a little bit here, using a combination of my own experiences over the years, some earlier research, and some simple logic. In the 1970s and 1980s, I worked in an accounting and payroll department in which several hundred temporary employees submitted paper timesheets from a wide variety of locations: offices, warehouses, even some outdoor assignments. These timesheets often arrived in gummed envelopes, which were usually sealed by moistening and licking by the worker. A laborer working from a warehouse would see no need to get a wet sponge to seal his single envelope, so the lick and seal method was common. Some timesheets were carried in a shirt or pants pocket on the job, where they could absorb a small amount of sweat or other accidental secretion, as from a sneeze. I got sick, one way or another, every year. Usually not very sick. I didn't separate a cold from a flu from a virus in those days. My young son was also in daycare and then primary school during much of that time. We joked about the small children being walking petri dishes and marveled at their apparent resilience. It has also been noted by some that there have been few, if any, reports of COVID-19 infections of young children. This may be attributable to the rapid growth that is naturally occurring in children of that age, but it could also be due to the casual dismissal of childhood diseases. It's hard to tell, but a small child could still carry a virus, and an affectionate parent would come into closer physical contact with their small child than with another adult. Again, I'm speculating here. What can an Arlingtonian do? First, consider your own ability to self-transmit germs into your own body. Remember that germs commonly enter through the eyes, nose, or mouth, but that it is your hands that come into the most frequent contact with all three. However, also remember the other things that your hands touch, things that you might not normally consider. incoming paper mail after being handled by the sender, the initiating post office, the carrier, and finally you? You probably don't think about washing your hands after handling your incoming mail. Your kitchen sponge, which has probably been used many, many times before wearing out to the point of replacement. Also your bath towels and washcloths. All of these could be added to your laundry and would benefit from a hot water cleansing. I'm also reminded of a test from years ago in which the greatest number of germs were found not in the bathroom, not even in the kitchen, but on the surface of the TV remote control. This was just one sample, but it seemed worth considering. Now in 2020, the TV remote control is not the most frequently handled object for many people. It has been replaced by the cell phone. A normally careful person might run out to the store to purchase a set of face masks to wear in public, and they might avoid a handshake in favor of an elbow bump, and they might avoid someone who sneezes on the subway. However, they might never think about periodically sanitizing their home computer keyboard or their handheld devices. These are the handheld devices that they touch several times a day. The handheld devices that they hold up to their mouths several times a day as they breathe in and out during a phone conversation. Perhaps a daily wipe down with disinfectant would help. Some other common practices, such as thoroughly washing your hands and thoroughly cooking your food, have already been publicized and are a good idea. Here's a final thought. Keeping yourself free from ordinary illnesses such as colds and flu will also make it easier to identify people actually suffering from more serious diseases, including COVID-19. Try to stay as healthy as you can. This is producer Hef Munson signing off.
That's not how you wear that.
Well, I've got my mask, even though it's the wrong kind of mask, but thank you for bearing with us here in the quiet zone at the library and watching this edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you watching. Anything to add before we go?
All I can say is Happy Women's History Month, and be sure to come by the Central Library and check out their amazing exhibit called Women's Work. Women's work could be making
Women's work
cookies.
is never done.
Women's work could be making films, or women's work could be running for office and one day being president. We'll just never know.
Let's hear it for the women. Thanks for watching this edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. If you're out there next week, we'll be here and we'll do it all again. Have a safe week. Happy
Bye-bye.
Women's Month. Bye-bye.